Y'all, I was losing weight. I was doing really well. And then one day I just realized I'm not losing weight anymore. What is going on? I was freaking out. I still had fat I wanted to lose. Here's exactly what I did. Losing that last 10 pounds, I hit in a plateau. Let's get into it. When I look like this, I obviously calculated my calorie deficit. I made sure that I was eating in my calorie deficit by weighing and tracking my food accurately and learning how to do that, so I was on point. But I didn't realize that when I calculated my calorie deficit at this stage, my calorie deficit would change. So obviously, you know, that was the calorie deficit for my larger body. But for my smaller body, your deficit is gonna change as you continue to lose weight. I stopped losing weight, and I don't own a scale at my house. I'm not really too big on having scales. So I went back and got an in-body scan, which is like a scale, but way more in detail. It tells you your muscle mass, it tells you your fat percentage, muscle mass, all of that. So I went back and got another one and realized I had lost so much weight, not even really realizing it and not even thinking like, wow, so my calorie deficit that was sustaining this body is no longer sustaining my new body because I had lost a significant amount of weight. So if you want to continue to lose weight, you know, what was once a deficit for you may now be maintaining your body. Once I went back and I got the results, as you can see, I went from like 147 at the time that I took the test to 124, and I was like, okay, I probably still have a cool little 10 more pounds to go. But the good thing is now I know how much I weigh, so I went ahead and recalculated my calories in the calorie calculator, which you can find on Google, and I realized that my calorie deficit had definitely changed. It decreased a dramatic amount because I had lost a lot of weight, right? So the calories needed to sustain my bigger body were not the calories I needed to sustain my smaller body. So the smaller that you want to get, the lower that your deficit is going to be. So to kind of offset this and to make it so that you're not eating such low calories, but you still want to, you know, maintain a slim figure, nothing unhealthily thin, but just a slim figure, you will have to increase your activity level, right? Because when you increase your activity level, you know, you're burning more calories throughout the day, so you have more wiggle room to eat more versus somebody who does not move a lot, burn a lot of calories throughout the day. So what I did, I had heard all of this rage, all this talk about the 10K steps. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate myself to 30 days for an entire month to getting my 10K steps. Y'all, once I did this, the weight started melting off. I'm like, why do I need that many steps? Well, and I live a pretty, like, my job, I do most of my work on the computer, so it's very hard for me to get those steps in organically, so that's why I was always kind of turned off by 10K steps. Once I stopped losing weight, I was like, okay, and doing more research, I was like, okay, a great way to increase your activity level, in fact, what your activity level should be based off of when you're choosing it, is going to be your step count. So I upped my step count, I aimed to get 10K steps a day, and I was dedicated, and the weight literally started melting off without me having to drop my calories so dramatically, and that changed the game for me. To this day, I aim to get 10K steps every single day. It is a game changer for your body. It helps your activity level stay higher, which allows you more room to eat. So what they're saying about this 10K step stuff is true. So I increased my activity level, and that changed the game for me. And also just realizing like, oh, just because my calorie deficit was this at 150 pounds does not mean it's this at 124 pounds. And if I want to lose 10 more pounds and I don't want to starve myself, I'm gonna have to increase my activity level. So once I did that and started getting 10K steps, or aiming to get even more than that some days, that changed the game for me. And also I was taught like sometimes like your body gets used to being in a calorie deficit, so sometimes you should go into maintenance phases. So if you're in a calorie deficit for a year or 2 years, like there should be breaks during your weight loss process where you're not in a cut. So there were certain weeks I would go like a couple of weeks eating at maintenance instead of eating in a calorie deficit, just to give my body a break. But I would kind of do that periodically throughout the entire like 10 to 12 months of my journey of my body transformation. Like if I went on a family vacation, family reunion, you know, a function, whatever, I learned to stop restricting myself so much and to just enjoy it, just because I'm so on point when I'm at home with my diet, with my workouts and all of that. Let me use this as a chance to kind of eat at maintenance, or what I think maintenance would be. And then once I go home, I get back on track. And that also, I noticed whenever I did that and I went back into my cut and my normal routine, I felt like I started losing more weight. So that also helped as well. And also there's this thing called refeed days. So like every day, typically like on a weekend, someone will have a day where they're eating at maintenance calories. And it was kind of taught to me as kind of like surprising your metabolism. Like if your body gets used to you being in a calorie deficit and you throw it off with that refeed day where you're eating at maintenance or maybe even above maintenance, and then you go back into your normal routine of being in a deficit, that can also help as well. But that changed the game for me. My weight started melting off. All the world's order was restored. If you guys want more content like this, definitely let me know. I love being on YouTube here. I feel like I can talk all day. People on TikTok be telling me I talk too much, but I feel like, you know, I'm gonna get on YouTube and they're gonna get all the information. This is what the over talking is for. I did want to give you guys that tea. Love y'all and see y'all in the next one.